Saradomin, or the Lord of Light, as he is called by his followers, is a major god in old-school Runescape and is the central figure of the Saradominist religion. The Saradominist faith claims him to be the god of wisdom and order. With thousands of years of tradition behind it, it is the largest religion in the world and has allegedly had connections to every major human kingdom at some point in time. This guide will cover everything you need to know about the faith and teachings of Saradomin. So let us begin. The Church of Saradomin is a religious organization dedicated to the worship of the deity Saradomin. It represents the largest religion in the world and allegedly has connections to every major human kingdom. The church's influence was so great that it implored a prior king of Asgarnia to limit the Gothixian Void Knights to the area around Taverley. And in Misthalin, the church is responsible for installing Ionisig Ricefair as permanent Saradominist religious advisor for King Roald. The church places some amount of authority in the Isle of Entrana, which Saradominists believe is where Saradomin first arrived on Gielinor. The island is considered holy and hosts a church and an order of monks headed by the high priest of Entrana. The island collects wealth from Saradominists across Gielinor, and its high priests have far-reaching authority. They have set calendars, dictated proper procedures for marriage ceremonies, and put down other laws that govern the lives of many Saradominists. The majority of Saradominists appear to adhere closely to the teachings of the Church. For example, Saradominist doctrine teaches that there are three gods, Saradomin, Zamorak, and Guthix. Other beliefs include the rejection of magic users as being servants of the void and a strong belief in an afterlife in the form of a peaceful and blissful heaven. Some Saradominists only accept the existence of three deities, Saradomin, Zamorak, and Guthix. Others claim that Saradomin is the only true god, with Zamorak serving as a fallen angel who tempted Saradomin's followers away from the light. Still others deny the existence of any gods at all, seeing the God Wars as a purely metaphorical event. Many Saradominists view the Druids' claim that Guthix shaped Gielinor and banished the gods at the end of the God Wars as false, holding instead that Saradomin would have won the God Wars, but in an act of mercy allowed Zamorak to escape and agreed with the other gods not to interfere so that they would not destroy the world through their combat. Some members of the church choose to interpret this symbolically as representing the battle between good and evil within oneself, rather than as literal events. Abbess Benita of the Abbey of St. Elspeth wrote a book on the subject of the God Wars as a spiritual allegory. The church is also skeptical of demons. Performing rituals and reading tomes related to demons is forbidden, and the punishments for doing so may be severe. Elamar was charged with blasphemy and sentenced to execution for studying demonology and summoning Agrith Nar. The church also disapproves of golems, believing them to be unnatural, which has discouraged people from pursuing the art of golemancy. The church recognizes a number of saints, at least Saint Elspeth, Saint Ziliana, and likely also Saint Elora. In addition, the 7 priestly warriors are referred to as saintly. A lock of hair from Derek's wife was kept in a reliquary, possibly implying sainthood. During the God Wars, sainthoods could be granted by Icene High Command. It is not defined how and by whom saints are recognized in the present day. Saints may be depicted with a star of Saradomin above their heads, similar to a halo. Saint Elspeth's ghost has a literal smaller such star floating above her head. Now that we know about the Church of Saradomin, let us learn about Saradomin himself. Saradomin, pronounced Saradomin, also known as the Lord of Light by the White Knights, is the god of order and wisdom, and is believed to be the most widely worshipped god on Gielinor. Additionally, he appears to be strongly associated with light as well, with various attributes, such as the Book of Light referring to him as such. Saradomin was born a human. In the Third Age, he founded the Ordo Templi Saradominis, a highly secretive military and espionage order based near Falador, from the remnants of the Zarosian order of a similar name. Presently, Saradomin has a vast number of followers, most of whom believe him to be the god of good, and there are far more churches dedicated to him than to other gods. Most of his modern followers reside in Misthalin, Asgarnia, Kandarin, and Entrana, but there are several groups outside these areas. Unlike those of Zamorak or Guthix, his followers consist almost entirely of humans, though that was not always the case. Saradomin's symbol is a four-pointed star that is usually colored gold or silver, which he likely took from his crown. Saradomin was the first god to return to Gielinor in the 6th Age, after Guthix's death. The Elder Crown, in possession of Saradomin, during the 3rd to 5th Age, Saradomin possessed one of the 12 Elder Artifacts, the Locator, until it was retrieved by Zaros. This item is used to locate all the other items. However, possessing any of the other items will likewise reveal the crown's location. It is known to have been in his possession for well over 10,000 years. Saradomin has a vast following because of all the people and races allied with him. Many Saradominists have varying opinions on numerous issues. These opinions may not be shared with Saradomin himself. Some Saradominists believe that there are only 3 gods, denying the existence of other gods, demigods. Others go as far to claim that he is the only true god in existence. The Saradominist religion makes heavy use of symbolism and glorification, and thus Saradomin may at times have been portrayed in a different light throughout the history of Gielinor than what may be the case. And although Saradomin is largely benevolent and wants to do things he regards as good, this does not mean that he is the personification of good itself, nor that his methods reflect his goals, as Saradomin is indeed relentless in his pursuit for order and peace. Saradomin has himself expressed a hope that the ends justify the means. Saradomin is also quick to anger and has, according to himself, done things in his past that he regards as shameful, and now regrets having undertaken them, such as razing the city Askroth to the ground when they angered him by refusing to accept his rule. Although Saradomin is from Terragard, he has little remaining tie to the culture or technology of that world. Saradominist culture is instead based largely on Aitian culture, filtered through the interpretation of Saradomin himself and his many human followers. As more and more humans from the former Zarosian Empire joined Saradomin, they brought with them Zarosian cultural mores, some of which were adopted into the culture as a whole. Many of Saradomin's followers and forces are nearly fanatically loyal to him, as he devotes a great deal of effort to making sure this is the case by promising them peace, prosperity, and protection from harm. As a god, Saradomin has been shown to have extreme power and abilities. He can teleport himself, objects, and other beings anywhere on a whim, except when another being that also has extreme power prevents it. He can also enlarge both himself and objects to gigantic sizes and infuse power into weapons and other beings. He is also in possession of the Elder Crown, which makes it possible for Saradomin to locate other Elder artifacts, while exposing him to other gods who are in possession of other Elder artifacts. However, the Saradominist crown can only pinpoint which planet these artifacts are on and not their specific locations, much to Saradomin's frustration. Despite maintaining a powerful beam while locked in battle with Zamorak, he could still produce area of effect spells that would empower his followers or weaken his enemies. Furthermore, as evidenced by his interactions in the Death of Chivalry, Saradomin is capable of creating manifestations of himself elsewhere in the world that can interact with the world and its inhabitants, as well as teleport and cast spells even while the true Saradomin is focused on other tasks, such as battling Zamorak, a privilege of being a high-tier god. Saradomin also gained a great deal of power after he won the Battle of Lumbridge, fueled by Guthix's divine energy. He is capable of summoning lightning around him that is powerful enough to instantly kill armored knights. Using the Staff of Armadil, he can fire a barrage of projectiles. While wielding his spear, he can increase the power of his ranged attacks and summon a spear of light to strike an opponent. He created a force field that isolated himself and Nex from the rest of the battlefield, confining them to a small area to avoid collateral damage. He fought Nex, who was empowered by Zaros's 4 elemental crystals, to a standstill. And that concludes our guide to the Lord of Light and the Saradominist faith. Thank you for watching and come back soon for more guides.